Vote for your favourite Mango moment of the Friends Provident T20 season at mangomoments.co.uk.
We've got a few questions here for you, Mark, but I just wanted to start off by just thinking back over your very long and extensive cricket career. We were talking earlier about junior cricket in Middlesex and of course probably at your height scoring centuries against Australia. There's something about playing against Australia which really brings out the best in people, and you found that too.
Well, it's probably the sledging, to be honest. The constant war of words, really, from the bowlers with the Australians. I found that you know, they were never shy of saying a word or two, and Warne and McGrath used to bowl a lot of overs, and they used to be the two main guys who used to be talking a lot to the batsmen. And so that may have been one reason that sort of got the best out of me. Perhaps it was against the other teams. I was never around long enough for them to sledge me, perhaps. But the other thing was as well, whenever we played Australia, they tended to be, I think, quite good wickets. Certainly when I toured Australia in '98 with England, I felt that they were the best test wickets I've played on because they had the most consistent bounce. And as a batsman, if you get that, then it makes life a lot easier. So I think those are two reasons why, you know, perhaps I did quite well against Australia.
Your other century in Test cricket, of course, came in the West Indies, where again, I suppose, bounce is the key, even against some of the, or possibly the best bowlers ever to play the game.
Well, I found Ambrose and Walsh throughout my career to be the most awkward because they were the tallest, I suppose, and they were very accurate, but they seemed to always manage to find some uneven bounce from the wicket, and that made life very difficult. So to score off them was tough. But if you weren't sure about how high the ball was going to bounce as well, to go forward or back was not easy. So happily, the match that you mentioned in Barbados is probably the best wicket in the Caribbean, and with the most consistent bounce. And you know, happily, I had a good day.
And so one of your two centuries in Test cricket. I just want to go back to the other one against Australia at the Oval, where we are here today in 2001. Particular memories of that day and of that innings?
Very hot. Had fielded a long time because Australia batted first. I think made 600, and Steve Waugh got a brilliant 100 on virtually on one leg. He had a torn calf muscle, but still decided to play. But wanted to play in this last match, and we were up against it. Went out, but it was a lovely sunny hot day. Was picking up the ball quite well from the bowlers. And you know, I felt at home. I've always enjoyed playing at the Brit Oval and have a good record here in county cricket. So it was somewhere where I felt quite comfortable, and you know, that was important.
It leads on to a comparison there where you scored many runs for Middlesex and for Surrey, possibly the Oval and Lords too, are the best grounds to play at. For you, lucky I guess, but such a privilege as well.
Yeah, I have been very, very lucky in my career to have two home grounds, both in London, both very significant test grounds with great history and tradition. And so that's something that I'll look back on my career and really feel that I was very, very lucky to be part of, you know, that, and to have played with Middlesex and Surrey.
Just talking of Middlesex connection at the moment, one or two, Finn and Morgan, that are coming through and starting to shine for England now, and also Shazad's been playing. You've been facing and playing with these guys more recently. What are your thoughts on their development and how important it is to come through county cricket?
Well, I think county cricket is strong at the moment. I know that when Nasser Hussain was captain of England and Duncan Fletcher was coach, that they weren't necessarily that positive about county cricket or our domestic structure. But I think it has prepared people very, very well. In recent years, we've seen players come through, both young players, but also players who have perhaps played a bit of county cricket and learnt their game. I'm thinking of people like Graham Swan and Ryan Sidebottom. And they've become grooved players, consistent players, and they've then stepped into the test arena and been very consistent. If you look at the young players, you've mentioned two, I think Steve Finn has burst onto the scenes with great attributes to be a bowler, you know, great height, he's a good athlete, and he has bowled, you know, very well for Middlesex in the county championship. And I think England will be very protective of him now, they won't want to overbowl him, and so they'll perhaps manage his workload. And recently we've seen him come out for a number of weeks to work on, I think, on a sort of England-guided fitness programme to try and keep him fresh, because after all, cricket is now, certainly 12 months a year. With Owen Morgan, I'm not quite so sure about his development. He's one that has done it very differently. When he's growing up in Ireland, I would imagine playing a lot of one-day cricket, and he's burst onto the scene playing one-day cricket for England, particularly 2020, and he's shown obviously a lot of improvisation with his batting, but also he has shown a great temperament, and I think that's what England have looked at. They've looked at his temperament and his character, and they're desperate for him to perhaps go the other way, starting from a one-day success and then move it into the longer form of the game. That's quite unusual, I think, and that may well be the case with more and more young players, is that they eye up the 2020 early in their careers and then perhaps make a transition to being able to play longer innings in the longer form of the game. And it's very interesting, I think, to see Owen Morgan and how he will develop playing Test match cricket.
It's a path which I think a few years ago, when 2020 kind of burst on the scene, but it's become a World Championship, it's become very important from a revenue point of view for countries and for counties. But I guess the true test still is 4-day cricket, first-class cricket and Test match cricket, people to be judged by. That's where your reputation is.
Well, that's what I think. Whether that will still be the case in 5 years' time, who knows? I think it's always been in the game that you are judged upon as a first-class player, what your first-class record is like. But with the advent of this short form of the game and the popularity of it all, you can be propelled into world cricket, if you like. If you go and score 40 off 16 balls, that is something that will be remembered, that will catch headlines, as opposed to perhaps a 4.5-hour 100 in the county championship. So that's why I say Owen Morgan's development is very different to perhaps traditionally what has gone on.